I think these keychains are so cute. I literally cannot stop making them. Today, I'm going to show you how to make the lobster. Here's a little close-up. You're going to need 3mm seed beads and 28 gauge wire. This is the seed bead pack that I use, and this is the wire I use. I'll link both of these because I did get them both from Amazon. You'll want to cut yourself about 30 inches of your 28 gauge wire. We're going to start with our metal ring here, which does come in this kit. If you don't have one of these, then you can just make a loop on your wire, but this is so that we can add the keychain. You'll thread that through your wire and then line up both ends and find your midpoint. Now we're just going to twist this a couple times to secure in place. I like to give it 3 or 4 twists. And there we have where we're going to add our keychain on when we're done. We need to start at the head here, so we're going to thread 1 red bead onto each of these wires, the right one and the left one. Once you have a bead on each of your wires, you'll bring them down to your midpoint right here. Now we're going to take this wire, loop it around and thread it through both beads. The other wire, we're going to do the opposite. So I'll make sure both of my beads line up flat like this so that I can thread through them. I'll take one of my wires, loop it around through both of my beads and pull it tight. And I will do the same to the other wire. Loop around through both of the beads. This can be a little bit difficult because we do have our jump ring in the middle, but just feel it out and you should be able to get it. There we go. And then we'll loop that through. I like to press just to make that flat right there. Okay, now from here on out, we're only going to be adding beads to one wire instead of both, like this. So for the next row, I need 3 red beads, and I'll go ahead and string those onto my wire. 1, 2, 3. I'll bring that back down, fold that wire with the beads over, and then I'll take the wire that is not being used and use that to thread through all 3 beads. And then I will pull that tight, pull both ends of my wire. The next row is 4 red beads. So it doesn't matter what side you put these on, as long as one wire gets the beads and then one wire you thread through the beads that you strung on there. So we've got 1, 2, 3, and that one's a little bit funky looking. Maybe we'll put that one aside. 1, 2, 3, 4. Then we fold that over and we take our wire that was not used and thread it through all 4 beads. And pull tight. So here's where we're at. Next, we're going to do our row for the eyes. So we need 3 red beads and 2 black beads, which we will alternate. So we go red, black, red, black, and you guessed it, red. Give our lobster some little eyeballs. I love when we put the eyes on. It makes them feel like so freaking cute. All right, then we'll do 5 red beads in line with those. And then will come the fun part where we get to do the little arms. My seed beads get stuck together sometimes, so I just knock them apart. My hands are so cold. I don't know if you can tell in this video. Perfect. thread our wire through. Now we have his little face done. Now it's time to make the arms. To do the claws, we'll need 8 beads strung onto one of the wires. All right, and you bring that wire close here. And what is going to happen is we're going to string this wire back on itself. I'm going to take the first 4 beads here and leave them out of my way and string my wire through the remaining 4. When I pull that tight, you can see our little claw will form. Go ahead and leave that for now and do the same thing on the other side. I've got my 8 beads on the other side. Again, I'm going to move 4 away and then string my wire through the remaining 4 beads and then pull the wire tight. Now I'll take that same wire and I'm going to string 2 red, 1 white, and 2 red, and this will be the beginning of the body. So we've got 2 red, 1 white, and 2 red. And just like before, I'm going to fold this over and then string the other wire through all 5 beads of the body. And get that untwisted. We've got our little claws. So now we've got another body that we need to do. So we're going to do 2, 1, and 2 of the red, white, and red. So we've got that another body section. Go ahead and string it like usual, where we pull the unused wire through all of the beads. And then we'll make the first pair of legs. For the first pair of legs, we're going to need 4 beads. So go ahead and grab 4 red beads, put them on one of your wires. And similar to what we did for the claw, we're going to be stringing this wire back in on itself, but we're only going to skip the first bead. Skip the first one and then string through the remaining 3 and pull tight. You'll want to move these beads as close to the body as you can. Hold on to those and then pull your wire. And we'll do that for the other side as well. And just like all the other body sections, we're just going to do this as usual and string the unused wire through. And pull tight. All right, we have another pair of legs to make. So it's going to be the 4 beads just like we did in the previous. And then we'll have another body section. So I just finished the second pair of legs, and for this body section, we're going to do 1 red, 1 white, and 1 red. My beads are a little bit funky where they have like different lengths and stuff. I'm going to try to grab 2 red beads that are relatively long, just so it's a nicer transition to this body section. If you do need to do more beads to make it more even, that's like totally up to you. So do whatever you want. I'm going to do red, white, and red. So these beads are kind of large, this row that I picked, and it lines up pretty well. Now we'll do our last pair of legs, which are actually only 3 beads in length. So they're done just like the other legs, but they're shorter, in which we're going to string on 3 red beads. And then with the same wire, we'll skip the first red bead and put our wire through the remaining 2. Pull that tight. These ones you want to hold the beads, again, close to the body. We'll do that on the next one as well, the other side. Now we're going to do 2 more body sections of the red, white, red. And again, I'm going to try to pick beads that are a little bit longer and not so tiny. And that's only because my beads are all different shapes. Okay, so that's one. And then we've got another one to do of red, white, red. See, that bead is like way too skinny to use as this tail section. All right, and if you wanted to add like one more tail section here of the red, white, red, you could do so. I'm gonna go ahead and do my tail now. So now I need 2 red beads. I'll make sure they're similar in size. And then we get to do the tip of the tail. The tip of the tail. All right, we're gonna have one more row of 2 red beads. This is the penultimate row, the second to final. And then for our last row, we need to string 4 red beads. I think I have 4 red beads scattered around here, like numerous beads on the floor right now. 1, 2, 3, and 4. And instead of just moving it over and stringing that last one through, I'm actually going to take the wire that my 4 are on currently and go all the way around and loop it through the 2 beads here to make a little half circle. I'll take the yarn, the wire that is unworked, and then string it through all 4 beads the other way, as well as the 2 beads, these 2 last ones here. And then I will pull it tight. And if your wire's like this at the end, just trim it and then thread it through. It's going to be so much easier to do it that way. That was more difficult than it should have been. Okay. Now we have our tail. So the question is, how do you secure the ends? We're just going to take these wires and weave it back through just a couple rows. Just gonna weave it through a couple times, and this is so like it won't unravel. If you have a preferred method of weaving in your ends, then do that. But I'm just going to weave a couple rows and cut. Okay, I'll trim that guy. And then I like to just push those wires to the side so they don't poke anyone. And there you have it, our little lobster guy. You can go ahead and leave a comment for which tutorial you want me to make next. I've made quite a few of these little guys. I even made a mini Mothman, who I think is pretty adorable. If I have a tutorial for one of these already made, you'll see it linked below. But if there's one that doesn't exist yet and you want to learn how to make it, let me know and I'll do it.